I wanted to read something from Hafiz, my absolute favorite all-time poet. Anyway, he has such a profound and also light way for me to really feel his intensity, his beauty, his wisdom. And Daniel Ladinsky is the one that translated this one, and it's my favorite translation. He did spend 6 months with just this book, without technology, without a phone, and really, really diving deep into the original poetry. So the translations would be sweet and clear and as profound as Rumi was. Of course, Hafiz was. So I love one of the things that, my light's kind of funny today, so excuse me for that. One of the things that he said in the foreword was, I feel my relationship with Hafiz defines reason and is really an attempt to do the impossible, to translate light into words. Isn't that amazing? And that's why it's really almost impossible for anyone that has experienced the blessings of the divine profoundly. You can't describe it to someone. You know that once they feel it, it's like that rush of human passionate love in the beginning. So there's no questioning it. You don't have to ask someone about that kind of feeling. Anyway, it's impossible to translate light into words. So that is so true. And it says, make the luminous essence of God tangible to our finite senses. Because really, if we can't make it tangible to someone, if it's something that they can't gain wisdom from, it doesn't serve. I just love it. This isn't what I was going to read, but a poet is someone who can pour light into a cup, then raise it to nourish your beautiful, parched, holy mouth. I just think that's beautiful. I've been thinking deeply about, standing in the middle, not taking the right or the left, not taking the red pill or the blue pill, not really having anything but, opinion. Yeah, opinion, I guess. Just holding it like I believe God holds all. Light, dark, our so-called good, our so-called evil. Just holds it in neutrality and just as the observer, just as the divine lover. Knowing that sooner or later we all come into the fold of where we came from. This is one I just opened to after contemplating this morning. Actually, this was yesterday morning, contemplating about the right or the left, the blue pill or the red pill, and realizing I'm just neutral because I want to be here as the observer and hold all of it in love, because I don't believe you can win anything with putting another down. They're not as good as you. And so when we criticize, where does that put us? Calling them evil. I don't know. I've gone through all this myself, but I'm just getting clearly shown where to stand in what's coming forth. And that is center as the divine witness. So this is Hafiz. Elegance. It is not easy to stop thinking ill of others. Usually, one must enter into a friendship with a person who has accomplished this great feat himself. Then something might start to rub off on you of that true elegance. And that's what it takes. It takes being with those of very high divine consciousness to hang out with them literally. And that's why I love this book, that I can hang out with Hafiz every single day in love for all of humanity, no matter what they did to him. That is where I want to hang out, in true elegance. The last one I'll read for right now is just a favorite, and I've done this one before. But if you really contemplate this, it's so delightful. And how could you judge anything on this planet if you really, really understood this? to the core of your being, from your sacred heart. Listen carefully. 2 giant fat people. God and I have become like 2 giant fat people living in a tiny boat. We keep bumping into each other, laughing. I mean, can you see that? God and you on a tiny boat. Both as 2 giant fat people that you can't get away from self, from God. Keep bumping into each other. So everything in life that we are bumping into right now, if it's physically, if it's through thought, action, is we're bumping into God. And when we really, really get that to the core of our being, there isn't anyone or anything or any thought that can allow us to create judgment about, right? Just so beautiful to me. That it's such a beautiful poem. Bumping into God everywhere you go. Do you get that? Every video you watch that you want to judge, you're bumping into God. Everything that you deem as dark, you're bumping into God. Calling people names, saying they're going to burn in hell, saying we're right, they're wrong, and not allowing an opinion. Why can't we just hold that? Just hold it all. So what happens if we fully embrace and love it and open our divine heart to it and accept it? Because the core of everyone, I believe, is about true acceptance for who they are. This allows change. The rest doesn't. It's about being in the center, as I believe God would. And that's what's been coming through to me profoundly lately. Where would God stand? Where would consciousness itself stand? It wouldn't be red or blue, right or wrong, light or dark, because consciousness of all of that. So it's an acceptance. It's not a condonement of anything, but it's the observer, observing self as it expands or contracts. And I do believe there's some major changes that will be happening mid-June. And yes, we do have to keep catching ourselves. Like I mentioned in the poem before, to be true elegance, we need someone to model that for us. If it's a poet, if it's a person, if it's nature, whatever it is. How beautiful is that? Okay, you take care. Much love. Mwah. That's it.